So really wanted to focus on, obviously after, graduating from Syracuse and then going on to become, a coach now. So I guess I'll start with, when you were at Syracuse, did you ever envision yourself being a coach?
I don't think I ever did then. For me at that time, I think I was just thinking about playing professionally. Um, I was always the captain, and I guess coach looked at me as a leader. I guess I saw myself as kind of a leader, but I never thought I would be in the coaching world until later, probably in my career, towards the end of my playing career.
We see a lot of things on Jim Boeheim and his coaching style. Do you think the media portrays it differently, or was he really like he is, looked at?
I mean, I think he is the way he is. I don't think he sugarcoats anything. You guys see it in the media. He doesn't hold punches when he feels like saying something. He speaks his mind. He's always been honest and forward with us, which I think we respected. Um, Different style, and he's been in the game for such a long time that you can't do anything but respect him. But I enjoyed playing for him, and I think most of the guys did. And it's very unique that he's still there. The longevity that 40 some years as a player and a coach is just rare. With the exception of Mike Krzyzewski, I mean, he's the only one that's been there, and I think that's why it's such a tight knit, like family like atmosphere. We always come back and love to come to the games because we've all played for him. From myself all the way up to Roosevelt Bowie and Louis Orr to the guys now, the more current guys. So it's a very unique situation.
I feel like one of the common things I've noticed over the years is you got players come in as a freshman or a sophomore, and maybe they don't really get along. They butt heads with Boeheim, and then down the road later on in their careers, it's the exact opposite. They always come back to him for advice. He's always there for them. Do you think that was the same with you, or?
We always got along, and he always treated me fair. Like I said, I enjoyed playing for him, but everyone's different. And it's funny because I was talking to Alan Griffin yesterday about his style, and he's the type to kind of like, if he senses weakness in you a little bit, he may ride you a little bit more, and you may have a more difficult time. But I played hard, and I wasn't a big talker. I just led by example and went out, with a blue collar attitude and just did my job. And even if I wasn't scoring, I was still rebounding and doing other things. So I always stayed on the floor, and he appreciated that as a player in me, I think. So it was fine, but I see it. Some guys are like, man, he's tough to play for, but at the end of the day, one thing about him, he's very loyal and will do anything for you if you've played for him. And I think guys realize that when they get older, and see that side of him.
You talk about, I think you mentioned it a couple of times. He has a little bit of a different style. What from him have you kept as a coaching style, and what as a coach have you really done the opposite with?
I've always respected that he keeps it simple. He never strays too far away from what he believes in and what he's always done. And people always obviously go back to the 2-3 zone. And we played some zone, but we also played a lot of man-to-man back when I played. I've been watching a lot of games on YouTube, especially during the quarantine. And we played a lot of man-to-man, junior and senior year. And, he's pretty much abandoned man-to-man now. So for me as a coach, I've always liked his approach. It's just, this is the way you play. Keep it simple. Play hard, play smart. Keep the ball in the hands of the right people. And he doesn't try to overcoach. His style is simple. But again, for me, I like to switch it up. So I play man and zone, but I do love playing 2-3 zone at certain times. So I've kind of brought that along with me as well.
Obviously, not only are you the coach of Boeheim's Army, but also Liverpool High School. Talent alone, put that aside. What are some of the differences between coaching those two different teams?
Oh, so well, you got to deal with parents at the high school level, and that's not an easy thing. And you're dealing with kids that are just young and emotional, and they think they know it. They think they know everything, and obviously, I think we all did at that age too. So it's hard, and the skill level is different. In Boeheim's Army, I'm coaching guys who've been playing professionally for a long time. Like guys like Hakeem Warwick, and Renze, and Malachi Richardson and guys like that who've been on the NBA level or overseas for a long time, Derek Deverdorf. So the skill level is different. The mentality is different. At the end of the day, still trying to coach basketball, which I really, truly love.
When you get to coach that opportunity of Boeheim's Army and the TBT, what's it like getting back with all the guys, getting back together with, really guys that spans over a couple of decades?
It's amazing. It's like getting your, fraternity back together at the older guys who've been around and a lot of younger guys that have come in. And I've been in the area for the last 5 or 6 years. So guys, I coached Mike Benjay last year, who was one of my favorite players to watch play. So that was great. And so getting them together and being up at Syracuse and having a training camp at the Mellow with Coach around and everybody. And last year was really special. We had it at OCC and the fans loved it. Unfortunately, obviously we couldn't do it this year, but it's just fun. It's really fun. The guys are talented. They're receptive. I think they respect me and I respect them. And I enjoy it. It's an enjoyable time.
And then in terms of coaching, Liverpool, I think, obviously one of the main common themes there, coaching a high school, you mentioned it sort of, parents coaching from the crowd so many times. How do you deal with that? I'm sure you've had to deal with it in some way.
It's not easy. I'm normally a patient person. I try to, separate the two, and I understand that parents are going to be parents and they want to parent their kids. They want the best for their kids, but just sometimes they just don't understand it. I will never tell them how to parent, and they shouldn't tell me how to coach, especially I have experience. If I didn't have a lot of experience, it'd be different, but, I have a background in basketball, a lot of experience from here and overseas and professionally. And so it's hard to try to get them to understand that, like, I have my best interest in their kid, but if you're going to tell your kid he's a D1 player and he's barely a D3 player, then we're going to have problems. And I think it's where a lot of coaches run into problems because parents are just unrealistic and they're a little bit delusional at times. And unfortunately, that's just the way it is at the high school level. But at the end of the day, I enjoy the kids, and that's why I do it. I really enjoy coaching, and I also teach in a school. So I enjoy being around them and trying to mold them even off the court in life and try to give them, certain things that hope they can take with them.
Do you think you see yourself trying to, rise up more in the coaching ranks a little bit, or focusing more on?
I would hope so.
Yeah.
I would hope so. I love high school. I coach professionally overseas. So, I would love to get in the college game, but I know, sometimes it's just, you have to be patient. And it's timing is everything sometimes, and the right fit. I've had opportunities to go to some D3 schools, but and I looked at Lemoyne last year. I actually was one of the last few guys that were up for the Lemoyne job. So I'm looking. It's just a matter of time, I think, and a right fit, and something will happen.
You look at I just look at the waters in this area. You got Boeheim, you've got John Beilein, Greg Paulus, so many coaches from the Syracuse area. What is it about Central New York and basketball?
Mm-hmm. I think that, people just love basketball up here.
Mm-hmm.
It just has a lot of history. Obviously, Jim Boeheim's been here. You mentioned Beilein, and Paulus has really gotten lucky and bounced around and now ended up at Niagara. He's doing a great job. But, basketball is very popular up here, and there are a lot of knowledgeable, great coaches that come from this area. And I think it's kind of a hidden gem, and so to speak. There are probably a lot of guys up here that, a lot of people haven't heard about. When you think of Central New York, people usually think of New York City when you think of basketball in New York. So when you think, but don't really think of Rochester, Central New York, Syracuse, Buffalo, Albany. But there's a lot of talent player-wise, and I think there are a lot of talented coaches that understand the game as well.
Ryan, I'll end on two interesting topics. The first one is, obviously the Steve Nash hiring got a lot of different opinions. So I just wanted to see your take on that. Do you think he was the right fit, or do you think that, with no experience, it was a little bit of an odd hire?
I guess when you're at that level, like Steve Nash has played for so long, was an all-star MVP a couple of years. And I think recently he's been an assistant. So he's been around the game for so long, especially at the NBA level. So you take a guy like Steve Kerr, who's done a phenomenal job, obviously, in Golden State. Jason Kidd's had a lot of success. So a lot of these guys who've played, who didn't have a lot of, I guess, coaching experience, so to speak, but they have a lot of basketball knowledge and experience and high IQ guys. So, I think at the end of the day, if you understand basketball and you're good at coaching, sometimes it's a natural fit. Other guys have tried it. I remember Magic Johnson back in the day tried to be a coach. He's like, I can't do this. And it's not a fit for everyone, which doesn't mean they don't know the game. It's just coaching's not as easy as some people make it out to be. So it'll be interesting to see how Steve does. I think he's well respected around the league and in the basketball world. So we'll see what happens.
And then I'll end on this. Obviously, coach of Boeheim's Army. If you ever got the chance to suit up, would you?
I thought about it last year because when Chris McCullough and Tyler Lydon, decided not to play for whatever reasons, we were thin, and we had to go outside of the Syracuse family to get Will Raymond. But I practiced with the guys in the bubble for pretty much every day because we didn't have enough to do 5-on-5. So myself and Sean Belby, practiced with those guys every day. And there was a chance that if somebody got hurt or got in foul trouble, maybe, but it's hard. I'd really have to take a few months and really get in shape if I was going to do that. Because those guys, I'm 43, I'm going to be 44 soon. And, that's a different level of conditioning and being in shape mentally and physically. So I've entertained it. And, for me, I'd really have to be ready and know that I was going to play.
We'll have to check the record books. Maybe you'd be the first player coach in TBT history.
That'd be great.
Ryan Blackwell, thanks for joining me today.
Thank you.